Right. Good evening and welcome to the.
Get your mic.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting for, what is this, January 7th, 2025. Thank you. So I think our first piece of business is to have the roll call and the call to order.
Yes, Councilmember Matina. Here. Councilmember Parlett.
Here.
Councilmember Price.
Here.
Pro Tem Disney.
Here.
And Mayor Costa.
Here. Right. Pledge of Allegiance, Pro Tem Disney, lead us.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we go on to the acceptance of the agenda and urgency items. Do we have any urgency items?
We do not have any urgency items, but we do have one minor change to the agenda.
Thank you.
We need to remove item 5E, the presentation from NHA advisors. It was added to the agenda in error. So we're requesting removal and then we will bring that back at a future meeting.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Next item is the consent agenda. The following consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the council at one time without any discussion. Any council member may request that any item be removed from the consent agenda for discussion under the regular agenda. Removed items will be considered following the consent calendar portion of this agenda. Do any council members wish to pull any of the items on the consent agenda? No, none. Do I need to read these out?
Yeah, we can read consent.
That's at the chair's discretion. You may, it's not legally required.
Okay. Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment on any of the consent agenda items? Anybody online?
Seeing no hands online.
Thank you, Nick. All right, do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes carry. So we're down to public presentations and requests. Public input. Any person may speak about any subject within the authority of the city council, provided that the subject is not already on tonight's agenda. For Government Code 54954.3A, the city council cannot take action or express a consensus of approval or disapproval on any public comments regarding matters which do not appear on the printed agenda. That said, we welcome your input. Is there anybody who would like to present to the council tonight? I do have one item. Should I read that out first?
We have Nancy.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I see there. So would you like to come up and just speak to that? Great.
Maybe after her.
Okay.
Good evening. I've recently moved to a live workspace on 17th Street near the mortuary, and it's been very interesting. Not really settled there because there's a lot of boxes piled in there. After 60 years of Rosique engineering, it took us 3 months to get out of the building. And as you may know, the Lake Family Resource Center is looking forward to moving in there. In fact, they're starting this week. 17th Street is dangerously potholed. And I spoke with Mr. Ladd, and yesterday, the day before, let's see, today is Tuesday, maybe it was Friday, I saw a city crew heading in that direction with a trailer on the back with obviously some steaming hot mix in it. The trouble is they must have run out of hot mix because there was way too many holes. So I'm here tonight to ask that 17th Street between High Street and Hartley become a top priority, even if you have to amend this year's plans. Because you've got a mortuary in the corner, and when there's a large funeral, people park there and they're going to trip and fall in the potholes. What's happening is that people don't want to drive down the street with their vehicles, and they're cutting across the High Street Village shopping center parking lot at a high rate of speed, ending up next to my picket fence where there's a big mud hole, and I'm afraid someone's either going to go into the building or have another type of miscap. Probably my picket fence, which I need to take down anyway, would come down. Also, so that's between the mortuary and the first, well, it's about it's the second house. I've got these vacant lots and then this house. And the shopping center people have complained to me. I sold that shopping center 3 years ago now. And they said, you've got to stop this. This is dangerous to our customers. Well, I'm not going to pay to put up the fence to stop it. I think we need to get the street fixed so some old person going to a funeral doesn't fall and sue the city. Then I was getting into my car the other day, and a man was coming down the street with his 2 children with probably a new Christmas bicycle, and there was a huge puddle. And it is like a lake on that would be just off of Hartley on the south side, just out in the street. Someone's going to come around the corner off of Hartley and spin out and out there in that puddle. And it's deep enough a child could drown in it. So anyway, please, whatever staff or you all can do to speed up the repair of 17th Street, it would be great. It needs a full paving job. The load of hot mix put only about a 20% dent in it. The second item is hopefully tomorrow night, the Planning Commission, Disney Water Sports will be approved for the property on Lakeshore Boulevard. And that's exciting. Once again, 2 or 3 years ago, I came to the city with us and I plan to bug the city of Clear Lake. And thus we have Brad Rasmussen on the Board of Supervisors as today. I think he made history being the first new county supervisor that was nominated and received the vote to be vice chair the day he took office. I thought that was exciting. And the audience had a round of applause for that. So let's get back to working with the state or whatever entity, I don't know what it is, scenic route to Lakeport, starting at the Nice Lucerne cutoff off the freeway or 11th Street, wherever. Let's get the traffic moving off the freeway and seeing what's happening down Main Street in Lakeport. Our merchants are suffering, and we want to see Disney Water Sports be successful. It's a big investment, appears to me. My husband told me, Nancy, don't you dare buy that property for R2. That damn creek is running through it. And it's impossible to develop for residential. So it's great that Disney has taken it on. So anyway, LEDAC or someone needs to get on this. Let's, and then the Highway 175 stoplight, people stop there and they see that sign, scenic route to Lakeport. Let's check this town out, not just go zooming right on by. It'll help our sales tax revenue that we can pave the streets with, right, Kathy? Thank you. And it's
Sounds great.
interesting, the price of gas has come down in Lakeport. And when I got back from Tahoe, everyone said, you see how the price of gas came down because of the new Indian gas station. Thank you for all you do for our city.
Thank you, Nancy. Resident Kenny Parlett coming to the.
Yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of a citizen of Lakeport. And I'm sure that anybody who's been out grocery shopping has probably noticed that there's a serious egg shortage. And I think, I don't know, a month or two ago, I mentioned that the CDC, Center for Disease Control, withdrew the fraudulent PCR testing, which is interesting for COVID, because it's a fraud. And in case you weren't paying attention, Carrie Mullis, who got the Nobel Prize for PCR, said that it is not a clinical or diagnostic tool in any way, shape, or form. And at that meeting, I mentioned I wanted the council and everybody involved in the city of Lakeport not to fall for this fraudulent situation, because now we're hearing about avian flu. And in case you didn't hear, avian flu is a flu virus which has never, and I repeat, never been isolated in a lab. It doesn't exist. It's fraudulent. But I thought you might find it interesting that on December 31st, 2021, CDC withdrew the approval of PCR because it's a fraud. And then now what's happened is we have avian flu, and they're finding cases in chickens that are asymptomatic, just exactly like the pandemic. People were diagnosed with COVID when they didn't have it. The case rates went sky high because Drosden and Corman came up with a phony test. They got it approved in 2 days through a review, and it's been a fraud since day one. But what's happened is now they have killed hundreds of millions of chickens, I guess laying hens, because we can't get eggs. Okay, I've been buying eggs for 54 and a half years. 4 consecutive weeks, we have not gotten one egg from Clover Dairy. We're buying them from a produce company and packaging them. Formerly, they were $5, $6 a dozen. We are selling them for $6.99 a half dozen because of a fraudulent test. And I bring this up because they're going to push the avian flu, and the health department, which I no longer can trust in any way, shape, and form. And by the way, the health system in America is the #1 killer of Americans, far greater than cancer and heart disease and automobile accidents and murder. So I'm letting you know. But in addition to killing all those chickens, I have an article here, bird flu, a windfall for largest industrial chicken producers. After they culled these chickens that were asymptomatic, they awarded $889 million. Most of it went to the main chicken producers. They got, I figured it out, $13.67 per chicken to cull these chickens to get rid of our food supply, which could be another conspiracy theory, but I would keep my eye on that as well. But just to let you know, there's no eggs out there because they're killing chickens with a fraudulent PCR, diagnosing with bird flu, which no virologist has ever found, nor have they found rabies. And one little sideline note before I leave. In Lake County, in the last 10 years, rabies is also a virus, supposedly, never been seen. There has not been a case of rabies in Lake County in 10 years. And in 10 years in the state of California, with hundreds of millions of dogs, we've had 9 cases. But yet we mandated that they get a vaccine for a disease, a virus that does not exist. Start doing your research, start getting off of Google, get off of Bing, and get off of all mainstream media and find out what's really going on. Viruses do not exist. I know it sounds crazy, but they've never isolated one, especially COVID and especially bird flu. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak on a matter that comes within the authority of the city council?
Hello. A little bit lighter subject. My name is Marie Schrader, and I do Discover Lakeport CA, and I thought I'd just give you a wrap up on December in Lakeport. It was actually a very good December, and we had a lot of really fun things that happened. One of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention is that I started something called the Twinkle Tour. I don't know if any of you saw that or not, but it was a listing of all the lighted houses that I could find in Lakeport. We had 70 houses on that. And when I first started marketing it as just a lighted house tour, and it went nowhere. The minute I turned it to Twinkle Tour, it went everywhere. And then, you know, what's in a name, right? The map, the Google map that I provided was viewed 4,400 times. That's pretty astounding. The, my website, which I started in October, mid-October, and in October it had like 600 views. In November, it had 1,500 views. In December, it had 4,500 views. So that's pretty astounding. The reach for the Facebook page was up at 45,000 in December. So I think we did a really good job with getting Lakeport out there and all of the festivities that we had and having a really wonderful time for our residents of Lakeport. That's all I have.
Great job. Awesome. Anyone else in the room? All right, Nick, anyone online?
No hands raised online.
Okay, thank you. Closing public input. Next item is, we have two proclamations. The first proclamation, the council will present a proclamation honoring William Eaton for his contributions to the city of Lakeport and the Lakeport Economic Development Advisory Committee, which will be referred to as LEDAC to make life easier for all of us. All right. So I will read the presentation. You guys tell me if I'm doing it wrong. I'm going to read the proclamation.
Should we bring Bill up?
We're going to bring, yes, bring Bill up, please.
Come on, Bill.
The man himself. Woohoo. Come on up to the podium if you don't mind. That's all right. And as you make your way up, I want to say I haven't had, the pleasure of knowing you, but I've heard a bit about your accomplishments and I'm pleased to be able to read this proclamation, which kind of lays out probably just a little bit of what you've done. So, all right. So proclamation of the city of Lakeport and the Lakeport Economic Development Advisory Committee honoring William G. Eaton for his contributions. Whereas William G. Eaton has served with distinction since 2014 as a member of the Lakeport Economic Development Advisory Committee, LEDAC, dedicating his expertise to survey research and analysis that has benefited local businesses, law enforcement, and community organizations. And whereas Mr. Eaton has had a distinguished international career in market survey research and business consulting, contributing to diverse industries and small businesses in Northern California and beyond. And whereas his leadership roles, including national chairman of the Institute of Marketing Management in Zimbabwe and vice president of the California Map Society, reflect his enduring commitment to excellence and innovation. And whereas Mr. Eaton's civic contributions, such as his advocacy for the Zimbabwe Pensioners Support Fund and his editorial contributions to Calafia, exemplify his commitment to service and philanthropy. And whereas he has made significant contributions to LEDAC, particularly in designing and analyzing the annual Business Walk Survey, which has provided invaluable insights to the City Council and the public, and through his assistance to the Lakeport Police Department and the Lake County Chamber of Commerce in conducting community surveys. And whereas community leaders have praised Mr. Eaton for his experience, dedication, and positive impact, describing him as a guiding force in achieving LEDAC's mission and a compassionate advocate for community development, including some testimonials that will be read following this. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that the city of Lakeport and LEDAC express their profound gratitude to William G. Eaton for his exceptional service, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the betterment of the Lakeport community. The members of LEDAC wish him all the best. That is. We are not done. I believe that Wilda is going to come up and read the testimonials that people wish to share with you.
Congratulations, Bill, and several members of LEDAC and the community have some comments to make.
to honor you. And first one is one that I submitted, that you've been a productive member of the Lakeport Economic Development Advisory Committee. During that time, you were primarily responsible for the development of the survey questionnaire, which was used when contacting business owners and managers during the annual business walk. And that you participated in the walks in addition to compiling and analyzing the data that we gathered, as well as delivering reports to the Lakeport City Council. Denise has a comment.
So it is my pleasure to be here and to make a few comments about working with Bill through LEDAC. And one of the things I have in my notes here somewhere is that he is such a intelligent man and such a humble man, which speaks to just hearing the background and all the things that he did in your career before joining us in Lakeport and LEDAC. So congratulations to you for that. So my comments are that Bill Eaton has added tremendous value to LEDAC for several years. In addition to serving on the committee for several years, he has been essential to the annual business walk. His expertise with compiling raw data into statistical analysis, which, by the way, I don't know how we're going to replace him with that word, used for reporting results to the city council and the general public, has been invaluable. In addition to his ability to analyze and present data in a meaningful way, he is an all-around, I said good, now I'm going to say great guy, and his presence will be missed.
Thank you.
Yeah. And did Pam Harpster make it online?
I do see a Pam online.
Okay.
Oh,
Pam,
she has her
you
hands
have
raised.
anything to add?
Oh, that's nice.
Go ahead, Pam. You're there. You go.
Okay, great. So sorry I couldn't make it over there, Bill. You know, it's been a fun journey with you. I think we started this mission about the same time. And you know, the comments that I am prepared to share with you really is just kind of underestimating the you know the work that you've done and the mark that you've left on us. Your gentle wisdom has been a guiding light for our group, leaving an indelible mark on everything that we've accomplished together. Your unwavering dedication provides a plumb line to our mission that reminds us the values and the purpose that bind us together. Though we really will miss your steady presence and your influence will continue to inspire us for the years to come. And I know that, you know, even if you're not at the meetings, I know that you're with us in your heart and you're with us in our hearts as well. So thank you so much for all you've done.
And Denise is going to read a comment from another committee member.
So this is from Joanne Sakato, who was not able to be here tonight. She has a medical situation in her family. So her comment is, my goodness, what a man, what a kind heart and genuine caring attention Bill gave to this work.
Oh, that's nice.
And our former chief of police and new supervisor also has.
So I had the opportunity as police chief to work with Bill over the years on the business walk surveys, but also he assisted the police department back in 2019. It was a community policing project that we had going on where Bill helped develop a community survey that was instrumental in helping us improve our community policing to move the department forward. Also, his work in that saved the police department many thousands of dollars. So I felt fortunate that we had Bill's expertise right here in our community, saw the work that he was doing for the city with the business walks, and ended up bringing him over to the police department to help with that very important survey. So that had a huge impact on some changes that we made to move the department forward with better community policing. So thank you.
Thank you.
So to the council members, you know that we definitely appreciated Bill's work and his time in the community, and we appreciate proclamation and the recognition of him.
Absolutely.
Well, we
That's
appreciate him.
Yeah, we'll get a picture of the proclamation too. Everybody in there.
There you go. Get the mayor in there.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's been an honor, privilege, and a pleasure working for the council. Excuse me. And I will be available for occasional projects if you still need me, but old age is catching up with me a little, so I'm not as fast as I used to be, but thank you. It's been a great time, and hopefully I've helped the city of Lakeport on its way.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Phil.
Well, that felt wonderful. So our next proclamation is, we're going to present a proclamation honoring Martha Huerta of the Finance Department upon her retirement. I understand that Martha is not here with us this evening, but we are going to read her proclamation nonetheless. Proclamation of the City Council of the City of Lakeport recognizing Martha Huerta for her 23 years of service to the city and community of Lakeport upon her retirement. Whereas Martha Huerta has dedicated 23 years of loyal and exemplary service to the City of Lakeport, beginning her journey on May 21st, 2001, and has been a vital member of the Finance Department. And whereas Martha has consistently demonstrated outstanding professionalism, dedication, and expertise in managing the city's accounts, streamlining financial processes, and contributing significantly to the efficiency and effectiveness of municipal operations. And whereas Martha's tenure has been marked by the successful implementation of numerous procedural advancements, adapting to evolving technologies, and ensuring accuracy and transparency in financial records for over 2 decades. And whereas throughout her career, Martha has been recognized for their exceptional work ethic, and whereas Martha has earned the respect, admiration, and friendship of colleagues, city leadership, and the community, not only for their exemplary work ethic, but for their kindness, integrity, and collaborative spirit. And whereas the City of Lakeport recognizes that Martha's contributions have played an essential role in the financial stability and growth of our city, leaving a lasting legacy of dedication and excellence, now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Lakeport does hereby thankfully and gratefully extend our most sincere wishes to Martha Huerta on the occasion of her retirement and recognizes her for years of service to the City of Lakeport.
Yeah, just really quickly, unfortunately, Martha was unable to attend tonight. But I've had the pleasure of working with her. She's been in my department for the last, since I've been here for 8 years, and 23 years is a long time to dedicate yourself to the city. I mean, for history buffs, that was before the city had a city manager, right? So she's been here longer than the city's had a city manager. And, technology has come a long way. And, she talks about when she started working, the guys would go read meters and bring log books to her with handwritten meter reads. And it's got to the point where they just drive around in a truck and it picks up a radio signal.
Right.
And, her job, I think, goes somewhat unnoticed. Even Kevin usually mentions, what does Martha really do?
Scares me what she does.
But what she does do that goes unnoticed is create an output of a utility billing to the customers that is impeccable, right? And when you don't have somebody that can do that, it creates a lot of problems. And so, having Martha here for that long, doing an impeccable job at creating extremely accurate billing process, was invaluable over the years. and with that, we're gonna miss her dearly, but we're extremely grateful to the city council who allowed us to hire extra position for half a year so that we could have the ability to cross train, two people to kind of pick up that job. And with that extra body, we were able to have the flexibility to create that cross training program, and get that done. So while we're going to miss Martha, we're excited about the opportunity for the new employees in that role. And we expect the greatness to continue.
Awesome. Well, good succession planning. Yeah,
Yes.
some things are like that, right? Their success is measured by the lack, the lack of a ripple, it's just a
Correct.
beautiful thing. So.
Yeah,
Best
I
wishes.
think my exact words on that were this, there's only a couple jobs that I don't think I could at least fake for a little bit. And hers is one of them that, I mean, it's very technical. There's, kind of a lot of weird nuances that do come up through that billing stuff that she just had the ability to iron out, and those were issues that just didn't come up across Nick's desk or my desk because she was such a a stable force in there for 23 years. And I too she's a very private person. We could barely get her to attend her own retirement party. So, but I mean, I think it's certainly valuable to honor that 23 years of service. And I too want to thank council for that foresight into that succession planning aspect, because those little things that if they just kind of go unchecked can become big issues if they're not done right. And in hiring that position, you've done quite a bit of cross training. We have a couple people in there that know those pieces and kind of are able to sort of check and double check each other, just knowing that even 6 months doesn't give you the opportunity to replace 23 years. So, but I do want to thank the council for having the foresight to do that, because I know that's not a request that we do for every single position. But this one was an important one, and we're going to miss Martha. We already do.
If I can jump in too, if the council wouldn't mind each signing the proclamation, we will mail it off to her or make her come in and.
I think we need to sign bills too. Did we sign mayor sign?
It's the mayor.
There was
It's
just one.
one on that one? Okay, good.
Good check, though. All right. Next item on the presentation list is a presentation from the Clear Lake High School Environmental Impact Club.
Thank you, Mayor Costa. Tonight, the Environmental Impact Club of Clear Lake High School's here. Over the past several years, the city of Lakeport has participated in a statewide initiative for Coastal Cleanup Day.
Yeah.
And it's a great event that I really enjoy participating in. We clean up the shoreline, the parks, the public spaces, the Forbes Creek watershed area. And we had another successful event this year, and it was in large part to the shot in the arm we got from the group from the high school that's the Environmental Impact Club. And I thought, who are these, young people that are here that are so excited to help out? So I started talking with them, and they made the mistake of letting me know that they were looking for more volunteer opportunities. And so subsequently, they've helped us. We have requirements and reporting requirements to the state for our MS4 permit, our clean water program permit, the stormwater program. And so subsequent to the Coastal Cleanup Day, they've come back and helped us clean the storm drains out of the park. And that is a reporting requirement to the state, as well as do some of the storm drain outfall inspections where, often that's where we first identify if there's an illicit discharge of some sort that's polluting the lake. And the few times that I have worked with them on they're just, it's always all upbeat and fun to be around. And, the volunteer opportunities that they're taking advantage of aren't the most glamorous, and it doesn't seem to faze them or slow them down at all. And I know that Supervisor Rasmussen, it didn't go unnoticed on him. And, I was a little worried that he was going to snatch them away, take them to the county, but I think they have enough energy and care for the environment, that there's enough of that club to go around, and they've been a great benefit not only to the city, but I'm sure to the county as a whole, and most definitely the quality of the shoreline and the lake. And they have a small presentation, and just wanted to bring them in and let them tell council what their club's about, what their goals are, what they're going to do moving forward, and most certainly to get them recognized for the great work that they've done up to this point.
Nice.
Great.
Welcome.
You.
Is this thing on? All right. So we're the Environmental Impact Club of Clear Lake High School. Is controlling the slides? All right. So yeah, we're from Clear Lake High School, and there's just a couple of us in that picture. We have 28 total members, I believe, right now.
Wow. Oh, cool.
Slide. Pretty. Yep. So what do? We assist in any way we can, really. We love to just help in any way possible. We run a cleanup at the school. It's called Trash Patrol, where we go around and we clean up at school events and make sure all of the garbage is gone at football games and stuff like that under the bleachers and whatnot. We have like people who walk around with funny hats at break and lunch to go and pick up garbage that's on the ground and take the workload off the janitors a little bit because they are overworked. So, yep.
Why do we do it? We believe that Lake County is truly a beautiful place, and we would like to keep it like that. Some of us are major environmental nerds, according to that slide. And we worry about things like climate change and such, and we just want to help any way we can, no matter how small it may be.
Okay, so because our club just started to work like this year, like last year, I mean, 2024. So then we need like more voluntary opportunities. So to get us into connect, we have our Facebook account up there, and then or you can contact our president, one of our co-presidents, Jake, with his phone number and email up there. And if you have any like sorts of opportunities like cleanup that you need help with, like please feel free to contact us. And it's basically, yeah.
And then the next one. So these are all pictures I've taken of Lake County personally, and it's really awesome here. Like, I love just like looking up. Like, a part of my inspiration for us starting this club was just like I live out by Findlay and like on Big Valley Road, and just I love looking at the mountain, and seeing the beautiful like clouds, like the oranges, and you can see in that picture on the right there. It's just magnificent, and I don't know, like I love nature so much, and I just want to preserve it. So it's like, yeah, we aim to keep it that way, definitely. But yeah, that's it for us.
Wow. So when did you start the club then?
It was, I think, around the beginning of 2023 was when we had like the first ideas for it, like workshopping, and then we just took. It was like in one of our class periods where we kind of weren't doing anything, so we were just like, hey, let's make a club, and we just kept talking about stuff. I drew our old logo, which it used to be called the Earth Defense Force. And then we changed it because this is cooler. And so we were like, yeah, it was a little unprofessional. Yeah. Like, and so then this is drawn by me. It took forever, but yeah, I don't know. We wanted to make something that kind of looks like the seal.
Sure.
Seal.
Yeah.
And yeah, started out then, and we just kind of got the ball rolling, especially this year with just like anywhere we can go, we just go. I've tried talking, or we're trying to get with the fairgrounds next year, maybe have us come out and help clean up that, because it does get pretty dirty whenever the fair comes around. So that could be cool. But yeah.
Excellent.
I just cannot believe that you're not completely booked up like every minute of your life. This is it's amazing to me that
Need more.
Well, and
it's amazing.
I think showing up here and, introducing yourselves and giving us idea or letting us know that you guys are there, and the connections that you guys can make from just this little ripple that you're making right now is going to be huge. So be prepared for your influx and that wave that will come. I know that the community will support you and get behind you on this. I can already think of Terra. It's a tribal environmental restoration. That would be something also to kind of look into and collaborate with. I'm just super proud of you guys, and anything that the council or the city can do for you, please let us know as well.
Yeah, great work, you guys. I sit on the board of the Clean Water Program with the county, in both cities. And they have some grant money for supplies, trash bags, gloves, vests, even to bring a dumpster out that you could load into with no charge. So I'll try to get in touch with you and help in any way that we can as well. Good work.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you, guys.
you.
Thanks so much.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think because we have that one item that is not actually an item for tonight, E, we're down to council business. And this is the Administrative Services Director, Kelly Buendia.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you. Tonight for this item, we are addressing the annual mayoral appointments of city council members to serve as liaisons to various commissions, boards, and committees. These appointments are a critical component of maintaining active representation and communication between the city and its community partners. These appointments ensure that the city has a voice in discussions that impact areas such as public safety, economic development, transportation, and community well-being. And while some of these appointments are advisory, others involve active participation and voting responsibilities. So also tonight, so those are the mayoral appointments, but then the full council will be asked to adopt a resolution confirming the appointment of voting delegates for the League of California Cities. As I understand, the city manager has the full list of the mayor's appointments. And I will, if there are no questions, I will turn over to City Manager Ingram to read out.
Thank you, Kelly. And I just wanted to put, it was fun working with Kim on putting this together. She was very thoughtful in this process. There were several times she commented that, well, I want to make sure that we're not overloading any one person. So Kim took this job very seriously, and I think it, came away. She took everybody's lists of the ones that they wanted to be on, and maybe some that they no longer wanted to be on. And so I think we came up with a pretty good one here. So I'll just go through the list real quick. I believe you guys all have a written one as well. And then if there's any changes or proposals that you guys want to work out amongst yourself, we can have that discussion. So really quickly, I'll just start kind of from the top. Lakeport Fire Protection District for 2025, Councilmember Price with Councilmember Parlett as an alternate. Lake County Chamber of Commerce, Mayor Costa and Councilmember Parlett as an alternate. Lakeport Main Street Association, Councilmember Price. League of California Redwood Division for their business meeting voting delegate, Mayor Costa, and then Mayor Pro Tem Disney as alternate. Cal City's Redwood Empire Division Legislative Committee voting delegate, Mayor Costa and Mayor Pro Tem Disney as alternate. Lake County City Area Planning Council, or Lake APC, Councilmember Matina and Councilmember Parlett, with Mayor Costa serving as alternate. Right-of-way Ordinance Advisory Ad Hoc Committee, Councilmember Price with Councilmember Parlett, both serving, no alternate on that one. PEG Board, Councilmember Price. Vector Control Board, we have utilized George Spur, our local resident, former council member. He has served on that for at least 2 terms at this point. I did speak with him, and he is still willing to continue to serve on the Vector Control Board. So he's the nominee there, with Mayor Pro Tem Disney as the alternate. County of Lake Solid Waste Management Task Force, Councilmember Price with Councilmember Parlett as an alternate. SB 621 Indian Gaming Funds Committee, Mayor Costa and Mayor Pro Tem Disney. Local
Sorry, does that committee meet?
No, it hasn't met quite, but it still officially exists. It still officially exists, but.
Don't recall a meeting.
But we're gonna be ready to, anytime.
I did double check. It still exists on the books. We still have to have people to it, but they have not met in several years.
Thank you.
Local Agency Formation Commission, or Lake LAFCO, is Councilmember Martina and then Councilmember Parlett as alternate. Invasive Species Task Force, Mayor Pro Tem Disney. Clean Water Program Committee, Mayor Pro Tem Disney, Councilmember Parlett as alternate. Lakeport Unified School District Advisory, Councilmember Matina and Councilmember Price. Abandoned Vehicle Service Authority, AVA, Councilmember Price and Councilmember Parlett as alternate. Lake County Risk Reduction Authority, Joint Powers Association, or Authority, sorry, Mayor Costa, and then City Manager Ingram as alternate. Lakeport Solid Waste Committee, Councilmember Parlett and Councilmember Matina. Lake County Airport Land Use Commission, which we will hopefully make sure meets this year, is Councilmember Matina and Mayor Costa as alternate. Lakeport Investment Committee, Councilmember Matina and Councilmember Parlett. Lake County Recreational Agency, or Joint Powers Authority, LCRA, Mayor Pro Tem Disney and Mayor Costa. Tribal Consultation Committee, Mayor Costa and Mayor Pro Tem Disney. City Property and Land Ad Hoc Committee, Councilmember Matina and Mayor Pro Tem Disney. And then our recently formed at our last meeting, Lake County Regional Housing Trust Fund, Mayor Costa and Councilmember Parlett. I'm not sure that we're going to have two members on that one as of yet. They still haven't got that structure in there, but we figured it was best to get two members in there just in case. And then, as Kelly mentioned, we do need to take formal action in nominating both the primary and alternate for the Cal Cities Division Business Meeting and the Legislative Committee one. But you guys certainly are able to juggle if any of those don't seem to be consistent with what you agreed to.
I have nothing to discuss. I think I appreciate the appointments that have been made. Open.
It just seems like it's been an eternity since we've had, we get an additional representative on LAFCO like once every 42 years. I don't know. It seems like I was on it and then
You are back this month.
this month, but I thought it said starting in 26. Rotates to the city of Lakeport in 26 and 27. Is that supposed to be 25 and 26?
I think it's 25, 26.
Yeah, because I was thinking, not another year, really.
No, I thought I confirmed that.
We'll double check.
Yeah, it just seemed like it's been an eternity since, we were hot and heavy and then everything went south and then I keep waiting and waiting and waiting and now it says 26. I can't believe that's true.
If we didn't have an alternate this past year, then it would be ours. It's supposed to rotate every other year.
It's every 2 years.
Is it every 2 years?
Yeah.
Then, okay, but between.
It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years. Okay.
So does that mean?
You're back.
I'm back on it.
Well, the city of Lakeport's alternate is back on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of confused when I said 26, 27. I go, okay, well,
I
that's
think
like next
that's
year.
a typo. We'll double
Okay.
check.
That's the only question I had.
Okay.
Everything else good? Everybody's happy?
Yeah, I really appreciate the attention to detail from the mayor with all the appointments. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just tried to, yeah, as I went through this, I was realizing, wow, that's a lot of places to be and a lot of days and a lot of hours. And it was just trying to spread those out so that nobody got really slammed. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
I had a conversation with former CEO of the chamber, Melissa. We had a lengthy phone call the other day and I told her that I had tried for months. I went to their website numerous times trying to find out because I've been trying to interact with Chamber of Commerce and I guess now they finally have a new person taking over, and I guess Melissa and she are already working hand in glove, which is great news because Melissa, for those of you that don't know Melissa Fulton, she is the most iconic woman in Lake County history, in my humble opinion. And she's done more for Lake County than almost anybody else right up there. And Jennifer Strong's right there with her. They're incredible people, and she's working with her. And I let her know that I was not happy that I couldn't find their board meetings even on the website ever. It says it's going on in Lake County. We got this going on. What about a board meeting? And it's kind of hard to talk to the board when you don't get invited. So I'm glad to see that Mayor Costa and I will be possibly attending if they actually do have board meetings, which I'm sure with Melissa there, they will.
And they, yeah, it used to be great. We used to have a great relationship.
Yes, we did.
Attending the meetings, and we were always invited to all the ribbon cuttings and, just really good communication. So hopefully that'll come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, so next item of business then is
Did we
to
have a-
adopt the resolution. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that
I
correct?
thought you were moving on.
Can we
Yeah, no.
ask for public comment before we make a motion?
On the appointments?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes. Let's open it up for public comments on the appointments to the committees. Nobody in the room? Anybody online? Nick?
No hands raised online.
Okay, good deal. I guess, do we bring it back then for like a vote? Do we secure it with a vote? Okay, do we have a motion
Oh.
for that?
Just to clarify, this is for the Cal City representatives particularly that require formal action. So the other nominees are fine as is. But yes, we'll take a first and a second and a vote for those.
So the item that reads, adopt a resolution appointing representatives to represent and vote on behalf of the city of the League of California Cities, is that the one that we're doing right now? Okay, Redwood Empire Division business meetings and represent the city and vote at division legislative committee meetings. Do we need to actually now speak
So
those
moved.
people out? So moved.
So
Okay.
moved.
It is as we have read out on the appointments, and so, okay.
Second.
All right, and so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes carry. Thank you. That's where your experience. I appreciate there's a lot of bumpers on the lane, to keep us on the right spot. It's great.
It's a good way to picture it.
Yeah. So the next item is the Assistant City Manager. The first quarter financial statements, review and file the first quarter financials update, and Nick.
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. The Finance Department tries to bring a quarterly update so that the council can see kind of where we're at budget to actual. So the city's first quarter would be July 1 to September 30th. So there's a time lag. Obviously it's now January. So that is primarily because we're waiting for our sales tax revenues to come in, which have a 2 to 3 month lag. So September ends, October, November, we get those in December. It takes, a couple weeks to put together the report. And so there's always somewhat of a lag. We present quarterly budget to actual for the general fund and the water fund and the revenue fund. Those are the three principal revenue generating funds that we have. There's a lot of other special revenue funds that sporadically collect revenue, grant funds that, collect revenue based on grant funding. But these are our primary operating funds. And so there is a little bit of difference between the accounting in the general fund and accounting in enterprise funds. Specifically mentioned in the staff report is the fund balance or reserve calculation, where government fund reserve is an actual reserve of the difference between assets minus liabilities, where in enterprise funds we're using kind of a working capital calculation, which is current revenues, cash, receivables minus current liabilities. Because there are other types of assets and liabilities reported in enterprise funds, that's kind of the measure that's used in government to measure reserves for enterprise funds. Also included in the report is an update as of September 30th on the city's investment activities, which is required by our investment policy. So the city has CDs kind of stacks in the general fund and the wastewater fund. So you can see how those are operating. We've been doing this program for 5 or 6 years now, and it's been very successful. And then the concentration of investments, you can see there are a few other investments alternative to the certificates of deposit. We have about a similar amount in LAIF, which is a extremely secure kind of department of it's not treasury, but it's State Department that has an investment fund that municipalities can invest in, and it's very stable, very low interest as well. So it's been better over the last few years, but I think it's somewhere around 2.5–3%. But very safe, very liquid. And then a few years ago, we invested in the Section 115 trust, which is a little bit has a mix of investments, but it is restricted for pension, which we'll learn more about in 2 weeks. But that investment has also done very well since we've started it. So investments are doing well. Attached to the staff report are the 3 financial statements, which I mentioned earlier: the general fund, water fund, and sewer fund. In reviewing them, there's really nothing significant to report. Everything seems to be in line for being 25% through the year. Taxes appear to be a little bit lower, but that's just because we haven't received any property tax yet this year. Those kind of come in 2 tranches, with the 3rd small payment at the end of the year. So once those are collected, that will look more in line with what it's supposed to be. Sales tax is performing as expected, which is very important for the general fund, and expenses are in line. And same to be said with the utility funds. Revenues are keeping pace with budget, and so are the expenses. So nothing too significant to report for the first quarter.
All right. Thank you. Any questions from council?
I've got one just thought or question, Nick. The CDs that come out of the wastewater fund, the interest, does that have to stay in wastewater? Or can that be transferred to general fund?
No, that interest does stay.
Okay. They stay in their own silo, even the interest generated. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It's customer collected cash that's being invested, so it makes sense to keep it there.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just have a comment, and the kind of winds that I hear and a lot of the scuttlebutt around, the various suppliers and people that come in and tell me about closures and stuff. I am hearing some just unbelievable things from customers personally, but also businesses. And I believe that there's going to have to be a time when cities, municipalities, outside agencies, non-governmental agencies talk to PG&E. I talked about minimum wage and how $1 an hour for 10 employees, 40 hours a week is $20,000, and that takes all the profit. Well, this year we lost $20,000 to a PG&E increase, which was approximating 30%. It's unsustainable. I've heard numerous businesses. I know Carmelitas, went online and posted their PG&E bills of $4,000 or $5,000. 2 months later, they're out of business. And I'm concerned that the sustainability of a business with a mercenary, monopolistic energy producing thing that they just come in and they just tell you these are the new rates. That's it. I've had customers with, 600, 700, 900. They have to forego groceries and stuff. Is there a way that we can start pushing back and saying, hey, Thompson and McGuire and, Aguilar and all these people, listen, we're not going to have sales tax when all the businesses are closed. It just, I mean, it's going to be in Ukiah at Costco and Trader Joe's and Walmart, and the rest of them are going to be gone. And unfortunately, those are not in Lakeport. And I'm really concerned. I'm concerned for my own sustainability. And I've been in business for, you know, longer than anybody can even imagine at 54 and a half years. And 30% increase in utilities. Imagine anything else in the world except for eggs going up 30%. It's just, it's unsustainable. And I think people are going to have to get off the sidelines and say, hey, what in the heck is going on? And then everybody with solar, I'm hearing everybody say, well, it'd be nice if we could get some return on our solar, but with all the chemtrails and all the, you know, cloudiness, you know, we're getting like, you know, 15% of what we're supposed to get. I mean, I'm really worried for Lakeport businesses and Lake County businesses because this is absolutely unsustainable and they just are mercenary with their prices. And the Public Utilities Commission, I don't know what their function is except to rubber stamp everything that PG&E wants. And I guess they're still getting money back from the wildfires or whatever, but we're not going to have any businesses left if this keeps up. And I'm really, really worried about some of these smaller places. Anybody that has, you know, refrigeration and any kind of electrical output that they have to do on a daily basis, it's going to be really, really tough. And so I think that we need to start looking at this seriously and start talking to people and saying, hey, there ain't going to be any sales tax because no one's going to be in business except, you know, in the big municipalities with these big superstores. And then they're going to pass it on to all of us. So that's just my comment.
I think you're going to give Nick some nightmares right now, but
I mean, I'll just keep it brief. I mean, I speak to business owners quite often and I hear the same things. Talking to businesses during the business walks, heard the same exact thing. But, you know, talking to business that have closed, you know, one of them specifically said it was PG&E. You know, another business that's struggling and it's because of PG&E. And so I don't know what the city of Lakeport can do, but what you said at the end about the CPUC, they're definitely culprit to the industry. And I think Cal Cities is a good place to start. You know, the city of Lakeport isn't gonna be able to change what the CPUC does. However, you know, cities united through Cal Cities might be able to.
That's my point.
Yep.
And just to give you some context, in the month of July, people talk about PG&E bills, 700, 800, 900. Our bill was, and I have a 4,500 square foot building, 4,000 selling. My PG&E bill, $400 a day. I mean, it's just an average for the year is almost $8,000 a month. And do the math on that, you know, it's just unbelievable. And you can't just add it to the prices because then everybody goes to Costco or wherever they go to get what they think is cheaper. And it's just unsustainable. And I know the city of Lakeport can't do anything, but we need to talk at the California League of Cities or various places to get some leverage of some kind of, you know, action where we can get people to work together to say, we just can't. And I heard from an employee of Calpine that they made 200, I don't know, billion profit right here in our own backyard, which we get, I guess, none of the utility, you know, stuff from them. We get it from PG&E, and we're just getting literally raped as a business, and it can't go on, or there isn't going to be any. That's just my point. We got to get some kind of solidarity to go and say, enough is enough. But I hear now there's even more coming.
point taken. Any comments or questions from the public? Let's open it up for the public to comment or question on this item. No one in the room. Anybody online, Nick?
No hands raised online.
All right. So, any other discussion on the first quarter budget from council?
Good job, Nick.
Thank you.
As always, Nick.
It looks like there's no motion there. So now back to the agenda.
ROPS once a year.
Right. So the next item is the successor agency of Lakeport Redevelopment Agency Recognized Obligation Payment Schedule, ROPS 2526. The item is to adopt a resolution approving ROPS 2025-26 for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 for presentation and adoption by the Lake County Redevelopment Oversight Board. I believe that's
Yes.
Nick Walker again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you again. So this is a relatively strange item. We do bring it back. It is an item that we do annually. Prior to December 31st of 2012, cities and counties were able to participate in they were able to establish redevelopment agencies. So there was a property tax sharing program across the state in which we received funding and we were able to conduct redevelopment activities. We were also able to issue debt against those revenues. I think it was Governor Jerry Brown, in his infinite wisdom, trying to save the state's budget, killed the program and stopped and basically realigned those property taxes to different sources. However, agencies that had existing debt had to find a way to still pay off that debt. So the city of Lakeport had two, I think maybe three, we refinanced to make it two outstanding obligations for which we are still able to collect enough property tax to pay for those obligations and some admin associated with administering that debt. And so every year we report to the Department of Finance at the state, and it's forward looking so that it gives them a chance to say, okay, we have these obligations, we need this much money in this year to pay for those obligations, and then it has to go to the county for them to be able to collect and allocate those amount of taxes. So that's why it's like looking so far ahead. And so included in the packet is a resolution. So this body used to be the approving agency. And then a couple years ago, they created county-wide oversight boards. And so we bring it here, we adopt a resolution, and then I will take the approved ROPS from you guys to the county oversight board, present it to them, and get their approval, which also includes a resolution that then gets submitted to the Department of Finance. Included in the packet is the resolution you guys are adopting, as well as the payment schedule report that is prepared and will be submitted to the Department of Finance.
So do we have questions from council?
It's about as exciting as you can make it. And there are still people in the room. So that's a credit to Nick. Yeah.
It was a good description.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It was, and we appreciate
Mm-hmm.
it. And so any questions or comments from the public in the room? And how about online?
I see no hands online.
All right, bring it back. Any comment from council? Okay.
Madam Mayor, if there's nothing further, I'll move to adopt a resolution approving ROPS 2526 for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 for presentation and adoption by the Lake County Redevelopment Oversight Board.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. So that takes us to city council communications. And I think people liked when we started with the community development director, Joey.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Chief?
Yes, actually, I just wanted to comment about the January 18th Lakeport Elks Lodge is going to be hosting the Lake County Law Enforcement Officers of the Year for the various law enforcement agencies in the county. And through a truly democratic process, the Lakeport Police Department elected Detective Juan Altamirano to serve as its Law Enforcement Officer of the Year.
Very well deserved.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I have no report this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ron?
Mayor Costa. I have nothing to report.
Nick?
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. And city attorney?
Nothing to report beyond belatedly congratulating you all on your elections and appointments.
Thank you so much. Lindsay? And city manager?
It was a nice light agenda this evening. We're in management meeting today. We're looking at, it won't be the case the next coming up ones. We have quite a bit of business and action items. And one of the things that we want to kind of focus on here with the beginning of the year is we're going to, kind of look at some general reports on operations and different things. I think we have a roads report, a utilities report. We're going to dig into the annual crime statistics and sort of stuff to kind of provide baseline data, all kind of leading up to, looking at our council goals and stuff for, both progress on the current year goals and then outlining our next fiscal year goals in March and April. So we've got quite a lively bit of things on there coming up.
Councilmember Matina, yeah.
No report tonight.
Pro Tem.
I'm excited for my new appointments and committees, so thank you for that. Haven't attended any committees since these appointments, but I will be going on the radio on Saturday. Never been on the radio, so
KPFZ.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Good
Good to know.
So tune in on Saturday.
What are you talking about?
I don't, it's an interview, yeah.
Or just.
I'm just gonna spew for an hour. So I am really excited.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
I've done it a couple of times just
Okay.
with campaigning and whatnot, but yeah, it's a different
With John?
experience. Yes.
He was my woodshop teacher, so I want to call him Mr. Moorhead.
He's a show by himself. So
He
I
sure is.
I think
so
you'll have a good
I think
time.
I'll sit there and let him do the work. But
Right.
anyways, that's it for my
That's
report.
excellent.
Great, thank you. And Councilmember Perlet.
Well, as some of you may remember, the SB 12 pork initiative, where California has paid billions and billions of dollars to make pig pens better and bigger so that they could be mentally sound when they got slaughtered. I just got word today that there's a new SB 54, 59 that suddenly, instead of dealing with, crime and homelessness and high utility bills and runaway of inflation, now they're going to do a styrofoam ban. And it sounds a little bit like the tobacco initiative that we passed. It's a $50,000 fine for people that are going to be using single-use clamshells that are made out of styrofoam. It's nice to know that our legislators who are getting paid all this money are really dealing with the real issues in the world, like styrofoam. And I just thought that that's going to be coming. So be aware when you go to McDonald's, if it's made out of paper instead of foam, you'll know that they were facing a $50,000 fine, probably first offense. So be watching for that. This is just mind boggling with all the problems in California, that this is the kind of heavy duty stuff that they get shoved down industry and private enterprise. So anyway, watch for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Price.
Nothing to report.
Okay. So my report is a couple of things. I'm looking forward to the new mayors and new council members conference at the end of this month. And so those are always instructive and enjoyable. So looking forward to participating in that. Also, we've put together, I believe it's likely to be on the agenda next time unless something interferes, but kind of excited, sort of our own in-house kind of a refresher and a training for council members and hopefully helpful for members of the public. Our city attorney, I believe, is going to help lead a discussion that helps us all understand and be refreshed on what are the parts of a council meeting, what are their purpose. And I'm hoping that the public also benefits from that, because I know when I first started attending council meetings, I really had no idea how that all worked. And it was frustrating. If you don't understand how it's made, it's a frustrating thing to participate in. So we're hoping this information is going to be helpful for all of us to get synced again on how we're doing this and to be doing it well with the public. And then part of that, we're going to dive into how that flows into helping to increase public engagement in not only in our council meetings, but in our council business, and that's sort of a broader scope goal. But I'm just really excited because it's the beginning of, it sounds like a small little step on sharing this information, but hopefully it's just going to make participating in council business and council meetings a little more doable for the public and a smoother process, as smooth as can be, with all the constraints that we have on us legally and such. But, so that's what's, stay tuned. That's what's coming next, council meeting. And that's it. So if there's nothing else, I guess this meeting is adjourned, and I'm told I have to hit the gavel or it never ends. Okay, there we go.